these scars?
This is God.
Hey guys, what's up? And welcome to the Nightmare on Elm Street review series. Now, I'm real excited to revisit the movies that I've watched in the series, which is 1 through 4 and Wes Craven's New Nightmare. I was afraid to watch anything past 4 or Wes Craven's New Nightmare because I have not heard good things about those movies, and I did not want to see Freddy be turned into the equivalent of a Looney Tunes cartoon, but I guess I'll see those movies when I get there. I'm very curious on what the contents of that are, and I'm real morbidly curious on if I would like any of them or not. So I guess stick around to see if I do. And this, not only with this review series, but it'll also end off the Friday the 13th review series by the time we're done with this, with the Freddy vs. Jason review, which will end off both review series. But that's only going to be after we finish the Nightmare on Elm Street review series. That'll be like the big finale for both of them. So if you want to see the Nightmare on Elm Street review series, or the rankings that'll come after I'm done with both review series, please stick around, like, subscribe, and if you just want to see the review series, stick around too. But with that being said, A Nightmare on Elm Street tells the tale of Nancy, who is being haunted by Freddy in her dreams, and we follow her as we see her pick apart the mystery of who Freddy is, and then as she learns who he is, she goes on the defense or offense in trying to prove that he's real to her dad and trying to take him out before he can take her out. So, let's start out with the positives of the movie. And my first positive is that the intro is so well done. Man, it gets you hooked, really, with the assembly of this glove, this knife glove that Freddy uses. Him assembling this weapon is like the perfect way to lock you into the movie and show you what's fixing to go down. And it just hooks you in. Like, you just sit there wondering, like, what's he gonna do with that glove? Like, why would he do that? It's just so interesting on why he would do this, and like the atmosphere of the scene, really well done. If this thing doesn't get you hooked, if this intro scene does not get you hooked, then I don't know what other intro scene will get you hooked. But my next positive I have here is that the characters here are just so well done. None of them are forgettable in my eyes, even the ones that are there just for a short amount of time. And you don't forget who they are. Like, they're all important to the story. None of them are forgettable in any sort of way. Like, when you watch this movie, like, you're like, "Oh yeah." I mean, like, I don't think you can account for any character being like not important. And this group of characters brought us one of the best final girls we have ever had in horror movie history, in Nancy, with a performance from Heather Langenkamp. Nancy is one of the best final girls ever, if not the best final girl that we've ever gotten. And it also gave us the legendary horror icon in Freddy Krueger, and my personal second favorite horror icon of all the bunch. The performance that Robert Englund brings to this role is just so iconic. It's hard to believe that he won't be doing it anymore. Well, it is really easy to believe. He is old. But it's going to be hard for the next person that takes on the role of Freddy in order to top what he did. I mean, I've heard that Jackie Earle Haley in the remake is good for what he's given, but I haven't gotten there yet, so prepare to hear my thoughts about that. But going on with the next positive I have is that the kills in this movie are all top notch. Some of the best in horror movie history. I mean, all the kills here, I don't think there is a bad one to the point of it being hard. It's to the point to where it's hard for me to pick a favorite in this movie. But I would say that if I had to pick two, because it's very hard, if I were to have to pick two of the best kills in this movie, it would be Tina's kill in the start and Glenn's kill as the best of the bunch. Now, unfortunately, Glenn's kill is only the second worst thing that's happened to a bed that Johnny Depp has ever fallen asleep in. So there's that. And my next positive I have for this movie is that the practical effects of this movie are well done and help bring this movie to life, and it's amazing. The fact that a movie from 1984 can accomplish what the remake of this movie in 2010 couldn't accomplish is astounding. I don't know if you've seen clips of like a side-by-side comparison of the two, or you've done your own side-by-side comparison, but the most notable difference is that, like, in the scene where Nancy is asleep and Freddy's just coming through the wall, like, it's done so much better with the practical effects than it's done with the CGI that they tried to do in the 2010 remake. Like, I don't understand, like, from what I remember, I think, is that they got some cheap substance and they put it on the wall and they just, like, pressed Freddy up against it, and that's how they made the effect. But they couldn't do that for the 2010 remake. They had to make some awful CGI that looks like dog shit. Like, I don't even know if it looked good for the time. I don't think it did. And if it did, it aged like horribly. But that's here nor there, I guess. And going on with the next positive I have is that the atmosphere that this movie has, with all the dream sequences, with everything surrounding every environment that you see, is just so good that the only movie in this franchise that I think has been able to recreate that atmosphere for the dreams, for everything successfully, is Dream Warriors. And that's, like, sad to say, really, because only, like, A Nightmare on Elm Street 2 is, like, barely able to accomplish that. Now, I like that movie, I do, but it's not able to capture the magic that the first one had or that Dream Warriors has. I know I'm not saying anything too controversial there, but sadly it's true. No other movie has been able to top those two for the longest time, and I hope that we get a movie that at least tries. But my next positive I have here for the movie is that the soundtrack for this movie is so damn good. It's up there with the Halloween soundtrack, Friday the 13th soundtrack, the Scream soundtrack. Like, it is one of the best soundtracks of a horror movie, the most iconic ones. Like, every time you hear that theme music going on, it's just like, ooh, just so damn good. My next positive I have here is that the mystery that we follow Nancy going through in this movie, in discovering who Freddy is and the history behind him, is just done so perfectly. Now, this could have gone bad at like so many times if like it was not done perfectly, but it didn't, and so we get a really great movie. And to prove that, we see that in Nightmare on Elm Street 2, Jesse is going through the same ropes as Nancy and like trying to see who Freddy is, but it's just not like really done the best way like it is here. And Nightmare on Elm Street 3 gets away with this because, well, it's a new mystery. We don't need to know who Freddy is. We just need to know more of his origin story. And it gives us that. It gives us more background. It just doesn't recycle on, oh, who is this guy? Who's Freddy Krueger? Like, what did he do? Like, oh, he killed kids. Like, we don't get that like a second time in Dream Warriors, but we do get it a second time in 2. And it's because this is the first movie that is really fresh to see, and it's just done perfectly. I mean, like, you could look at examples in the franchise alone and see why this one is like done to perfection and why the others weren't able to even grasp on how to do it properly in like the last movies. Now, moving on is the negatives, and I don't have any. To me, there are no negatives with this movie, and that could be complete bias on my part. I know that for sure, but you could point out at the ending with the blow up doll about how it being like it getting pulled through the door and it not being like a good effect. It's like one really goofy looking effect. But I'm willing to look past one goofy looking effect over like a whole movie with great special effects with everything else. I'm willing to look past that with this movie. Call me what you will for that, but in my mind, this movie is a 5 out of 5. It is a masterpiece in horror, and we don't get too many of those. And it's such a great thing that we got A Nightmare on Elm Street because of this, and the great Wes Craven directing it. But with all that being said, thank you guys for watching. I hope you stick around for the Nightmare on Elm Street review series and then the eventual rankings for both Friday the 13th and Nightmare on Elm Street alike. I hope to catch y'all on the next one. Peace.